kamikazes failed, of course. But that isn't stopping Australian Energy Minister Chris Bowen from embarking on a kamikaze flight of his own in the near future, which, truth be told, has a slightly higher chance of success. Bowen is due to fly to Tokyo soon for high-level talks with his Japanese counterpart, Yuki Sadamitsu, to try to convince him that Australian gas should be less reliable and more expensive because of, climate change. He may as well fly there on a plane powered by solar panels. The Japanese have already expressed deep concern that Australia, which supplies 40% of the gas that, among other things, makes Tokyo one of the most brightly lit cities in the world, is planning to make its gas exports more expensive and supplies less reliable. Japan is also a huge investor in Australian gas projects and will feel the sting of increased penalties should those projects not help Bowen hit his suicidal net zero targets. Quote, "If this issue cannot be resolved, this might undermine long-trusted relations," Sadamitsu told the Wall Street Journal last week. This is the kind of mission that requires extraordinary diplomatic experience and skill, which is sadly lacking in our current federal government. Penny Wong, the foreign minister, who is probably the best of a bad bunch, has thrown up her hands and said, "This one's all on you, Chris." She told the Sydney Morning Herald from the ASEAN conference in Jakarta on the weekend, quote, "I understand that Minister Bowen will be travelling in the very near future to Tokyo, and I know he looks forward to discussing with Japan our commitment to being a reliable energy partner as well as our shared transition to net zero. We want to work with Japan to make sure that both of those objectives, that is our commitment to being a secure, reliable partner in energy provision and also our shared transition to net zero, is something that we can work on together." Well, that's a bit like asking US sailors to help guide Japanese pilots to land on their aircraft carrier somewhere off the Philippines in about 1944.